Hello, welcome to Jason the Old Millennial. My name is Jason. I'm speaking to you here in my basement in the great state of Kansas. And today I am continuing a video that I started last week of my top 20 favorite movies of the 2000s. I did numbers 20 through number 16 just this last week. And so now I'm continuing with number 15 to number 11, covering these 5 movies. Some comedies, some epic movies here, fantasy epics. So I'll start with number 15 on my list is a comedy called Best in Show. It came out in 2000. I don't have a Blu-ray of it at the moment. That's one I need to get. It's a mockumentary style movie, kind of signature movie for Christopher Guest, who directs and acts in the movie. He, of course, first mockumentary really that I know of starred Christopher Guest and Harry Shearer, Mike McKean. This is Spinal Tap. Came out, I think, in the 80s. That kind of started this whole really mockumentary group of movies with Christopher Guest taking over as director and also co-writes the movies with Eugene Levy. They done, I think, maybe 4 movies. They did Waiting for Mr. Guffman, then this movie, Best in Show, then A Mighty Wind, and then For Your Consideration was the last one that they've done. They haven't done one in a while, but I'm a huge fan of all these mockumentary movies. Absolutely hilarious ideas. They look like documentaries, but of course they're all not real people, and they speak to the camera. And this one, Best in Show, is about dog owners who are participating in the dog show that happens every year, this annual, I forget what it's called, dog show, where dogs compete against each other and get a prize for being the best dog, whatever that is. I never watched the actual show, don't really care for it, but this is such a hilarious idea for a movie, and so many great, hilarious characters in here. Lots of improvisation. It says written by Christopher Guest and Eugene Levy, also co-star in the movie, but it seems like it's mostly improvised, and I don't know how much writing there is. But absolutely great cast. Like I said, Christopher Guest, Eugene Levy, Catherine O'Hara, Fred Willard, Michael McKean in it, Jane Lynch, I believe her name is. Absolutely hilarious. Parker Posey is absolutely hilarious in the movie. Parker Posey plays a dog owner who's very intense. She's always very tensed up, and it kind of shows in her dog and her husband. They kind of have this tense relationship. Eugene Levy and Catherine O'Hara, absolutely hilarious. Maybe the best part of the show, those two and the characters that they create and the comedic scenes that they have. And then Fred Willard steals every scene that he's in as a dog, part of the dog show commentary, play-by-play commentary group who really doesn't know that much about dogs, but keeps bringing up random subjects into the commentary. Absolutely hilarious. Fred Willard. First movie I saw Fred Willard in, and of course he just passed away just I think a year ago. And man, he was the first movie I saw him in. I was like, this guy's hilarious. I love every movie I see him in. He's always funny. But yeah, so they go to the dog show, and then you see who wins, and just kind of about their journey as they travel to the dog show, and then get to see a little bit about them as they talk to the camera. Anyway, so one of the best comedies of the 2000s, one of my favorite comedies of all time, Best in Show. Number 14 is a kind of a sci-fi movie, drama, action. It's called Frequency, and I have a DVD of it. Came out in 2000 also, with Jim Caviezel there and Dennis Quaid as the 2 stars there. I forgot Dennis Quaid's name there. This is one of the first movies I saw Jim Caviezel in, and he's, I think, a great actor. One of my favorite actors today. He doesn't do a lot of movies, but he's always very good in everything he does. This is maybe not as big of a movie as some of the other ones I have on my list. I feel like it's somewhat of a hidden gem. But I remember when it came out and just totally be blown away. It went way beyond my expectations of what I thought of the movie. I wasn't sure what to think. It seemed like a cool idea. Jim Caviezel plays, and I'd say he's a cop, not in the future, but he's in the present time. I guess he's a cop, and he has a radio that his dad had, and his dad's passed away, played by Dennis Quaid, and he gets this radio, I think we call it ham radio, up, and something happens, some miracle, supernatural thing happens, and all of a sudden he can talk to his dad from the '60s or whatever. I'm guessing current time, in this movie came out in 2000, so he's talking to his dad back in the '60s, and so it's kind of this cool like sci-fi time travel kind of where he can tell his dad what's going to happen, and kind of, and then he tells him like to do things differently, and it saves his life. But then because his life is saved, and then it causes the death of somebody else, and so then they got to figure out there's a murderer, kind of serial killer on the loose, and so Jim Caviezel tries to use information that he has in the future to give information to his dad in the past to try to catch this murderer. Anyways, very uh, intriguing plot, very well acted by both Dennis Quaid and Jim Caviezel. It's got some really good suspenseful situations with the serial killer, and just a great idea. Very, I'm trying to say, just a really good idea for a movie. I love sci-fi time travel type movies like this with a great plot, and yeah, so it's one definitely check out if you haven't heard of it. Very very good movie. Frequency came out 2000. Number 13, another one I don't have the Blu-ray of. Something I want to get sometime is another sci-fi action movie called War of the Worlds. Came out in 2005. Of course, starring Tom Cruise, directed by Steven Spielberg. This is kind of a polarizing movie. I hear a lot of people kind of badmouth this movie. They don't like how it ends, and I don't know, they just don't like the movie, don't like the aliens, I guess. And I know it got some bad reviews when it came out, but man, I was, when you watch this in the movie theater, I mean, the special effects were amazing. When the aliens start blowing everything up, and Tom Cruise and his family is in the van trying to get away. Just a really cool scene. Great special effects. Like I said, Tom Cruise I think is really good in the movie as the dad. Kind of this has a bad relationship with his strange relationship with his son and daughter, because he's from divorce. Him and his wife are divorced, and so he's trying to save his kids, and they're having not a very good relationship with them. And so of course this alien invasion that happens in the movie kind of causes them to be closer together, causes them to step up and be brave and all that. And it's of course a remake of the old War of the Worlds that came out, I don't know, in the '50s maybe, which I think I've seen once, but it's been a while. But I actually really love this movie. Like I said, alien invasions are always kind of cool. I always like a good alien invasion movie. Of course, I like a good sci-fi movie. Aliens are killing everybody and try to figure out how to defeat the alien. It's like a Star Wars or Star Trek episode. I've always enjoyed watching those kind of shows. Like I said, yeah, Tom Cruise is great. Dakota Fanning really great as his daughter. She's pretty young here. I thought I gave her really one of her best performances as a young actress. Tim Robbins has a small part, very good. And there's a lot of tense like situations, like when the alien comes into the house and is looking for them, they're hiding from the alien. Really great. Kind of reminds me of Jurassic Park and the raptors looking for the kids in the kitchen. I mean, very good. Spielberg is just the best at doing suspense type situations where you're kind of scared for the characters, and how they barely get away from danger. He's very good at that. And I even like the ending. I don't spoil the ending, but it doesn't end kind of the way you would think it would, but yet it makes sense to me anyway. So yeah, I really like War of the Worlds. I think you should give it a chance. Number 13 on my list. Number 12, it's one of my favorite fantasy books as a kid, and turned to a movie called Cronks and Narnia, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. This one came out in 2005 also. Yeah, we say this is one of the great, like I said, fantasy movies and books. When I was a kid, I watched this as a made-for-TV movie, British made-for-TV movie, and I loved it as a kid. And I don't think I read the book too much later till I was in high school. Anyways, and it's a short book, but good. The author is a very famous Christian author. Now I forgot his name on top of my mind. Yeah, I'm not seeing it. C.S. Lewis. Yeah, I don't know why I forgot that. C.S. Lewis, a great Christian writer. This is his, I don't know what I want to say, attempt at writing a fantasy epic uh, type story, a lot like Lord of the Rings, which he was friends with J.R.R. Tolkien, so it kind of makes sense. They made these great, fantasy books back in the day, and it's a great story of the kids that go into this magical world, Narnia, which I love. I love ideas like that, fantasy ideas, this whole new world and all this world building. And you got Aslan, the lion, who kind of created the place and is kind of like God or Jesus of this world. And the White Witch is kind of like Satan, evil, and wants everything to be frozen in this sense and no joy at all. And yeah, just a great epic story. Very well directed, I think. Very well, everything from special effects to makeup work and costuming and cinematography, all of that is just really well done by Andrea Adamson, the director. Yeah, it's a great movie. Very emotional for me. Watching like Aslan. Uh, Spoilers for the movie, but if you don't know, Aslan gets sacrificed by the White Witch to save one of the kids, and has this very almost reminds you of like Jesus Christ when he was crucified kind of scene, and then he rises again. Just a very emotional scene. One of my favorite scenes of all movies. I talked about a little bit before on my favorite movie experiences. Really great. That's one I love going back to. So Cronks and Narnia, Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. That's number 12. So I got one more movie to talk about. Number 11 on my list. And of course, I just talked about C.S. Lewis and Cronks and Narnia, and he was good friends with J.R.R. Tolkien, who wrote another big, if you haven't heard, you probably heard, big fantasy series, unless you live under a rock, and it is called Lord of the Rings. And I'm going with Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring, the first of the trilogy. This is the theatrical version here. This is the extended edition. I got both. Yeah, we can say this is probably the beginning of one of the greatest trilogies of all time. One of the great fantasy movies. Introduce you to so many interesting ideas like the hobbits, totally new species, characters that you hadn't seen before. And then you got the dwarves and the elves, orcs, and all these fantasy creatures, goblins and trolls. And he does such a great job with this great storytelling of this, ring that Sauron controls everybody that has the ring, and he's trying to take over the world with his army of orcs. And then it's all about the ring gets lost in time, and then it reappears, and Frodo has it. Now Frodo has to go try to find out how to destroy it. And so then they form this fellowship, this group, with Aragorn and Legolas and Gimli, and then all the other characters, and trying to try to destroy the ring, basically. And of course, getting stopped by Saruman, and I'm sorry, I'm saying all these names. Hopefully, you know what I'm talking about. Gandalf, so great character, as the Grey Wizard. Yeah, just great. If I like fantasy movies and epic movies, and this is one of the great ones. I think it's a little bit slow, to be honest, at the beginning part. Once they get to the actual Rivendell, I believe it is, and they get the Fellowship together, and then they're traveling together to go destroy the ring. That's when the movie really picks up, and I love the new characters that they bring in. Just great costuming, makeup work. The orcs are just amazing. The makeup work is just, better than anything I've seen before at that time, for sure. Still holds up really well. Set designs are absolutely incredible. I've never heard of miniatures or anything like that until I saw this movie and saw like special features, and I was like, wow, I can't believe how much work goes into making all the sets and the miniatures and stuff like that. Very amazing work. Of course, cinematography, amazing. Won a ton of Oscars, I think, or I'll say ton, 4 Oscars, I believe, including Best Cinematography, I believe. Musical score is one of my favorite musical scores of all time. The Hobbit theme, the theme of The Ring, iconic song music that I love to listen to. Everything about it is so well done. And this won't be the last one I'll talk about, Lord of the Rings. Definitely one of my favorite though, and that reaches at number 11. Uh, Comes out 2001, and so that's last movie I want to talk about. That's my 15 through 11. So thank you for watching the channel, and tell me what you think about these movies, and if you think they should belong to a top 20 or what your top 20 is. I'd love to see your comments. And just thank you again for subscribing and listening or watching. And I appreciate all of you.